Welcome back to the deep dive. So this time we're diving into listener-submitted material again.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it's a conversational English practice script.
Okay.
Now, on the surface, it looks pretty simple, just everyday questions and answers about hobbies,
Right.
travel, preferences, that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
But, you know,
Yeah.
us,
Yeah,
we'd love to dig a little deeper.
absolutely.
So let's see what we can unearth from this.
I have a feeling you'll be surprised at how much we can glean from even these, seemingly really mundane conversations.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of like those optical illusions
Oh, okay.
where you see one image and then suddenly, a whole other picture pops out.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, so we're going to do that, but with culture and values instead of, birds and bunnies.
Love it. Okay, so this script starts off with some classic icebreakers.
Right.
Like, what do you like to do in your free time?
Yeah.
Do you like cooking?
Yeah.
Why are these such universal conversation starters?
Well, I think they tap into something really fundamental about human connection. It's that need to find common ground, no matter where you're from,
Yeah,
what language you speak, your background, everybody has an answer to those questions.
that's true.
It's just like a safe and approachable way to start a conversation and just get to know somebody.
I noticed that the script mentions hobbies like reading, walking, listening to music, trying new recipes.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a mix of active and passive indoor and outdoor activities.
Right.
Does that tell us anything about the cultural context here?
It certainly does. I think this variety suggests a culture that really values individual expression and a balanced lifestyle.
Interesting.
The script doesn't assume that everybody enjoys the same things,
Yeah.
which I think points to a society that really embraces diverse interests and encourages personal fulfillment.
So the conversation then moves on to travel.
Okay.
One person mentions a trip to Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Another one's talking about Italy.
Fun.
Now, travel stories are always entertaining,
Yeah.
but what can they reveal about cultural differences?
Oh, travel tales are like little windows into different worlds.
Oh, I like that.
The script even mentions the specific detail about bowing as a greeting in Japan.
Right.
Now think about how that contrasts with a handshake or a hug.
Oh, yeah, totally different.
Immediately, it highlights the importance of nonverbal communication and how it varies across cultures.
That's so true. Then there's this little exchange of fun facts about gelato
Uh-huh. Yeah.
as like a mid-afternoon treat in Italy.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this emphasis on unique hospitality experiences in Japan.
Right.
What do you make of these details?
I think those little nuggets are like cultural fingerprints,
Okay.
They give you just a glimpse into the daily rhythms and the values of a society. Like the emphasis on gelato as a daily indulgence in Italy.
Yeah.
I think that could speak to the importance of savoring life's little pleasures.
Okay.
Whereas the focus on hospitality in Japan might reflect this deep-rooted sense of respect for guests
Yeah.
and a desire to create memorable experiences.
It makes me wonder if there are similar fun facts about our own culture. Things that we take for granted,
Mm-hmm.
but would seem fascinating to someone from a different background.
That's a great question. I think it really speaks to the power of perspective.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes an outsider's viewpoint to help us appreciate those unique aspects of our own culture.
So moving on, the script dives into food preferences.
Okay.
One person loves sweet snacks, the other prefers savory.
It's always one or the other.
Right. Why is food such a universal conversation topic, even in a script designed for language practice?
Well, because food is about so much more than just sustenance.
Right.
It's deeply intertwined with cultural norms, personal identities, and shared experiences.
Yeah.
Think about the dishes that are considered like comfort food in your own culture.
Oh, yeah.
They probably evoke memories and emotions that go far beyond just the taste itself.
That's true.
And sharing those stories with someone from a different background can lead to some pretty fascinating insights and connections.
The script also briefly touches on different methods for learning English.
Like what?
Things like watching movies, using apps, talking with friends.
Sure.
Do you think this reflects anything about the role of language learning in today's world?
Absolutely. It really highlights how accessible language learning has become in our globalized world.
Right.
It's no longer confined to textbooks and classrooms.
Yeah.
We're surrounded by opportunities to learn and practice languages through, various mediums.
Okay, this might seem like a small detail,
Okay.
but the script has a section on favorite seasons
Mm-hmm.
and weather preferences.
Right.
One person loves spring for the blooming flowers and perfect weather,
A classic.
while the other prefers the cozy vibes of autumn.
Oh, interesting.
What could these preferences tell us about cultural associations and personal experiences?
Well, that's a really insightful observation. Spring is often associated with renewal,
Hmm.
rebirth, and a sense of optimism.
Mhm.
It's a time of optimism and just a celebration of life's cycle. Autumn, on the other hand,
Yeah.
evokes a different kind of beauty.
Okay.
Those vibrant colors of changing leaves,
Right.
a sense of coziness as we prepare for winter,
Yeah.
and maybe even a touch of nostalgia.
That's true.
These seasonal preferences, I think, often reflect our individual personalities and the cultural narratives that we've grown up with.
The script also mentions a preference for cold weather and activities like ice skating.
Oh, fun.
It got me thinking about how our environment can shape not just our leisure activities, but also our perceptions of what's considered fun or enjoyable.
You're absolutely right. The activities we gravitate toward are often a reflection of the landscapes we inhabit and the cultural values that we've, internalized.
Yeah.
Like in cultures where winter is a dominant presence, people often develop a really deep appreciation for that.
To the winter.
Yeah, for the unique beauty and recreational opportunities that come with it.
And then to contrast that, the script mentions surfing,
Right.
an activity typically associated with those warm, sunny beaches. Do you think these contrasting preferences reveal anything about the psychology of travel and how we choose our dream destinations?
I think they certainly do. Our travel aspirations are often driven by a desire to experience something different from our everyday lives.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you live in a place with long, cold winters, the allure of a sunny beach and the thrill of surfing might hold a particular appeal.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Speaking of dream destinations, the script mentions New Zealand, which is known for its stunning natural beauty.
It's beautiful there.
It seems like there's this recurring theme here of seeking out adventure, exploring new cultures, immersing oneself in nature.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree?
Absolutely. You're picking up on those subtle patterns that weave through this seemingly simple conversation.
Yeah.
It's fascinating how we can piece together a sense of someone's values and aspirations, even from these little snippets of dialogue.
Okay, so this is where things get really meta for me.
Okay.
We're analyzing a script designed to help people practice English, but we're actually using it to understand cultural values, personal preferences, and even the psychology of travel. It's like a deep dive within a deep dive.
I love that. And it really underscores the point that communication is about so much more than just the words we use. It's about
Mhm.
context, nonverbal cues, shared experiences, and those subtle ways that we reveal our values and perspectives through our choices and preferences.
This makes me wonder what our ideal conversational English practice script would look like.
Oh, interesting.
What kinds of questions and answers would reveal the most about our own culture and values?
That's a fascinating thought experiment. Maybe we could delve into that later.
Yeah.
But first, let's continue exploring this script and see what other insights we can uncover.
Okay, sounds good. It's striking me that even these seemingly mundane details can actually reveal a lot about a person's worldview.
Right.
Like, take, for instance, the question about the most interesting thing someone learned while traveling.
Okay.
The response in this script focuses on how people in different countries show hospitality.
It is a brilliant question.
Yeah.
It prompts the speaker to go beyond just listing places, and instead reflect on a moment of genuine cultural exchange.
Right.
And the fact that the response highlights those nuances of hospitality,
Yeah.
specifically bowing in Japan, that speaks volumes.
Yeah. It's easy to overlook those small gestures,
Right.
but they often hold such deep cultural significance.
Absolutely.
It really makes you realize how much we communicate without even saying a word.
Exactly. It underscores the importance of being aware of those cultural differences, when we travel.
Right.
It's not just about avoiding faux pas or anything like that. It's
Yeah.
about approaching new cultures with respect and a genuine desire to understand their customs.
A little later in the script, there's a conversation about accommodations.
Okay.
One person prefers staying in hotels while the other enjoys camping under the stars.
I love that contrast.
It is fascinating.
It's like two different philosophies of travel kind of colliding.
Yeah.
The hotel represents comfort, convenience,
Mm-hmm.
perhaps even a sense of luxury,
Yeah.
While camping under the stars evokes a more adventurous, nature-oriented experience.
I have to admit, I'm definitely a hotel person.
Really?
Yeah. I appreciate a good night's sleep in a comfortable bed and, hot shower in the morning.
Makes sense.
But I can absolutely see the appeal of disconnecting from the hustle and bustle and immersing yourself in nature.
And that's the beauty of travel.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong way to do it.
Right.
It all comes down to what you're seeking from the experience. Some people travel to relax and indulge,
Right.
while others seek adventure and a deeper connection with the natural world.
Speaking of personal preferences, the script also touches on favorite seasons and weather.
Yeah.
One person loves spring for the blooming flowers and pleasant temperatures, while the other prefers the cozy atmosphere of autumn.
I love both.
Why do you think we have such strong emotional attachments to certain times of year?
It's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
Our preferences, I think they often stem from a blend of cultural associations and personal experiences.
Interesting.
Like spring, with its vibrant blooms and lengthening days,
Yeah.
is often linked to themes of renewal, rebirth, and new beginnings.
Okay.
It's a time of optimism and a celebration of life's cycle, you know?
Yeah.
Autumn, on the other hand,
Yeah.
evokes a sense of cozy introspection with those warm colors, crisp air,
Right.
and the anticipation of winter's arrival.
It makes me think about how different cultures around the world celebrate those seasonal transitions in their own unique ways.
Yeah.
From harvest festivals to spring equinox celebrations.
It's a...
Our relationship with nature is just so deeply intertwined with our cultural traditions.
Absolutely. And those traditions, I think, often reflect a deep understanding of the interconnectedness between humans and the natural world.
The script also mentions a preference for cold weather and activities like ice skating.
Oh, fun.
It makes me think about how our environment can shape not only our leisure activities, but also our overall outlook on life.
You've hit on a key point there.
Really?
Yeah, people who live in colder climates often develop a really deep appreciation for the unique beauty of a snowy landscape. And just like the invigorating feeling of that crisp, cold air.
Yeah.
It influences their choice of activities, their fashion, even their culinary traditions.
And to contrast that, there's the mention of surfing, a sport typically associated with warm, sunny beaches.
Of course.
Do you think these contrasting preferences say something about how we choose our dream destinations? Are we drawn to places that offer something familiar or something completely different from our everyday lives?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it speaks to the complex psychology of travel.
Right.
Sometimes we travel to escape our routines and immerse ourselves in a world that feels entirely different. Other times we seek out destinations that resonate with our existing preferences and values.
This conversation about contrasting preferences reminds me of another interesting detail in the script.
What's that?
The conversation highlights these two different approaches to adventure.
Okay.
One person describes the thrill of ziplining through a forest,
Yeah.
while the other talks about the tranquility of camping under the stars.
That juxtaposition really gets at the heart of how we define adventure, doesn't it?
Yeah.
For some, adventure is synonymous with those adrenaline-pumping activities and pushing physical limits.
Right.
But for others, it's about disconnecting from the digital world, immersing oneself in nature, and finding that sense of peace and solitude.
It makes you wonder if there's a connection between our personality types and our preferred styles of adventure.
Interesting.
Do extroverts gravitate toward high-energy activities, while introverts seek out more contemplative experiences?
It's a fascinating thought.
Yeah.
It highlights the fact that adventure isn't this one-size-fits-all concept.
Right.
It's deeply personal and reflects our individual values, desires, and comfort zones.
As we've been discussing this script, I've been struck by how much we can learn about someone based on these seemingly mundane details like their favorite season or their preferred travel style.
It's true.
It's like we're piecing together a personality profile without even realizing it.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
These casual conversations,
Right.
often intended for just simple language practice,
Yeah.
reveal so much about our underlying values, preferences, and aspirations. It's a reminder that communication goes far beyond the literal meaning of words.
Right.
It's about understanding the nuances of human expression and learning to read between the lines.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into this conversational English practice script, I keep thinking about how much we've uncovered beyond just language.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It's like we peeled back the layers of everyday conversation to reveal this whole world of, cultural insights and personal perspectives.
It highlights the power of observation. Even the most casual exchanges can offer these little glimpses into a person's values, their experiences, and how they view the world.
One of the most revealing moments, I thought, was the discussion about the most adventurous thing each person has done. One mentions ziplining through a forest, while the other talks about the peace of camping under the stars.
Right. Right.
What strikes you about that contrast?
It speaks to the diverse ways we define and seek out adventure. I think ziplining, suggests a thrill-seeking personality,
Yeah.
a desire to push boundaries and maybe even conquer some fears.
Right.
Camping under the stars, on the other hand, evokes a sense of tranquility, a connection with nature, a willingness to embrace simplicity.
Makes you wonder if our preferred styles of adventure reveal something deeper about our personalities and our approaches to life in general.
Interesting.
Do you think there's a link between our internal landscapes and the external landscapes we're drawn to?
That's a fascinating question. It's certainly plausible. Perhaps those who crave those external thrills
Right.
are also seeking to shake things up internally, while those who find solace in nature are mirroring a similar peace within themselves.
Another detail that stood out to me was the mention of photography
Oh,
as
yeah.
a way to capture those travel memories.
Sure.
The script specifically highlights a photo of a sunset at the beach,
Beautiful.
which evokes a sense of beauty and serenity.
Right.
What role do you think photography plays in shaping our travel experiences and memories?
Well, I think photography is more than just documentation.
Yeah.
It's an act of interpretation.
Interesting.
The moments we choose to capture, the angles we select, the filters we apply,
Right.
they all reflect our individual perspectives and what we find meaningful.
I
It's
see.
like we're curating our own personal narratives through the lens.
So even though a photo might capture an objective scene,
Right?
the way we frame it and share it speaks volumes about our subjective experience.
Exactly.
It's like we're saying, this is what I saw, this is what moved me.
Exactly. And those choices reveal a lot about our aesthetic sensibilities,
Okay.
our emotional responses, and even our cultural influences.
It's amazing to think that something as simple as an English practice script
I know.
can spark such a wide-ranging conversation about culture psychology and the art of communication.
It really is.
What's the key takeaway you hope listeners will glean from this deep dive?
I hope they'll walk away with just a heightened awareness of those subtle ways that we communicate, beyond just the words we use.
Yeah.
Every conversation, every choice we make,
Right.
it offers a glimpse into who we are and what we value. It's a reminder to be curious, to observe, and to appreciate the richness and complexity of human interaction.
And maybe even to consider what our own conversational scripts reveal about us.
Oh, that's a good one.
What stories are we telling through our words, our choices, and our interactions with the world?
That's a powerful question to ponder. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive.
Well, this has been fascinating.
It has.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive. We'll see you next time for another fascinating journey into the depths of knowledge and insight.